Hello there, and welcome to my workshop on freedom mindset using The Empire Strikes Back. I hope that this resonates with you and that you learn something about freedom mindset, and we'll discuss what it is, what freedom mindset is, and how the film The Empire Strikes Back from Star Wars helps us to find our freedom mindset, gives us valuable lessons. So let's get started, shall we? I'm going to start now with a quote from Yoda. Try not. Do or do not. There is no try. Now, that's not a quote from the referee's report from the last England International Rugby Union match. You could be forgiven for thinking so. Although, you know, it might well be. That's something they might have said. In fact, it is a quote from a little-known science fiction film called The Empire Strikes Back. I say little known. Well, it grossed about $540 million back in 1980, which is a lot more money now, on a budget of $30 million. So perhaps it was a little bit bigger than little known. It was also sold a heap load of merchandise, and George Lucas became a very rich person out of that. From action figures to lunchboxes to pillowcases. I mean, I had the lot. I was there. Of course, most of you will know what The Empire Strikes Back is. I'm simply jesting with you. It is Star Wars Episode 5, but it's actually movie number 2, which sometimes gets confusing. But don't worry, because you don't need to know anything or ever heard of Star Wars for this trip today that I'm going to take you on. I'm not going to talk about the Skywalker family. That's for a psychotherapist to deal with. Instead, I'll be looking at The Empire Strikes Back and how The Empire Strikes Back teaches us about freedom mindset. So let's first of all discover what freedom mindset actually means, shall we? And if it is a real thing. So, freedom mindset title. There is nothing to fear but fear itself. Now, here's what Auntie Google says about freedom mindset. Freedom generally is having the ability to act or change without constraint. Something is free if it can change easily and is not constrained in its present state. Now, I just need to turn on the power source for my script. Now, it's about change, and without challenge and without remorse, which is a Tom Clancy novel. However, there are many things that prevent us from making changes to our lives. And here's a handy list of things that I can think of within 1 minute of stuff that stops you from changing. And I've written them down here. Money, work, mortgage, debt, marriage, kids, car, loans, area you live in, education, family, a small list. Obviously, you don't want to change your kids, although you don't want to change your kids. But if we take that one away, that excuse that we use away, all the other things can be changed, all of them. What stops us from changing any of those things? Welcome, my friends, to the land known as fear. Now, I've got an interpretation of fear here as well that I wrote down. An unpleasant emotion caused by the threat of danger, pain, or harm. We don't want to feel that. So instead, we place ourselves inside our own mental prison because all the things that are listed that are making us unhappy cannot be changed because it will cause an unpleasant emotion caused by threat, danger, etc., etc. Fear is an unwelcome place. Fear keeps you exactly where you are. Fear prevents you from spreading your wings. Fear tells you you are not good enough. It tells you that it will take too long. It will tell you it is a waste of time. Fear turns on Netflix when you want to read that self-development book. Fear heads to the fridge for a beer when you want to go out and have that run. Fear keeps you rolling along the week, heading for Friday night so that you can get absolutely blottoed and then feel crap all weekend. Fear keeps you safe. Fear doesn't want you to feel danger or harm or pain. Fear keeps the threat of progress away. Fear could be a dark and disgusting planet filled with slimy creatures and bogs, of dirty ponds and heavy trees that hang low, of noises in the distance, of murky swamps and heavy rain, dank surroundings where you can't see anything but green and slime and jungle. Fear actually is the planet Dagobah. And who lives on the planet Dagobah? Why, none other than that old Jedi Master himself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Yoda, to you I will. I don't have a picture of Yoda for fear of copyright, but you all know probably what Yoda looks like. Now, Yoda lives with fear, but he does not live in it. In 1999's The Phantom Menace, Yoda had this to say about fear. Let's see if I can do a Yoda voice.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
And now he said that to a young Anakin Skywalker who was feeling fear. And we know how that turned out. In the most uncomfortable places, we can find the light and the hope to move us all forward. In The Empire Strikes Back, Luke crashes into Dagobah, which sinks his ship into a swamp. Useful device of giving him no means of escape. He is then met with a cranky little creature when he was expecting a warrior of great status. He was pitting size with success. Yoda is our lesson of measure. If you want to break out of the hold of fear, first of all, stop comparing your life and your character to others. By all means, be inspired by other people's success, but on no account, put yourself in their shoes, because that will only mean the voice of fear will compare you with them and then remind you of all the obstacles and things you would have to go through, and it will be too hard and too long and too expensive, and you're not clever enough, you don't have what they have. When you measure yourself up against someone who has succeeded, you are never going to match that person. But it doesn't mean that you can't. It just means that they are there and you are here, and you go up to there. When Luke meets Yoda, he is a former farm boy who has just blown up the Death Star by trusting in the magic. He didn't understand. He couldn't believe it. It was just pure luck. But Yoda doesn't believe in luck. Yoda believes that with the right mindset, which comes from daily practice, you can achieve anything that you want. Luke let go of his logical thought processes to blow up the Death Star. It shocked Darth Vader into a spin, and he became the hero of the rebels. He wanted more of that. He wants the excitement and the hero's welcome when he wins. Yoda, however, wants him to learn and recognize that the force is all around him, all of the time, to bend the world to his will, to make rocks float in the air. Luke doesn't want to make rocks float in the air. In order to change, you need to set yourself on a path towards getting there. You need to take a first step. Don't worry about the enormity of the final destination. I mean, you don't go into your first day at school focusing on your exams. You work towards it. See where you want to be, and then work daily to get there. When Yoda pulls Luke's ship out of the water. Luke replies with, "I don't believe it." Yoda sighs and says,
"That is why you fail."
so the first step to freedom mindset is to believe in what it is that you want in order to achieve the freedom that you want. Believe. If there is something in your life that is preventing you from feeling free, then you are the only person who can do anything about it. It doesn't have to be a drastic change. If you feel stuck at work, you don't have to walk out. If you feel lost in your relationship, you don't have to end it. But it is very important to recognize the emotion that you are feeling and then decide what it is that you would like to do about it from the heart. It always comes from the heart. That's where your answers lie. Part of being free is to understand that in any situation, you have a choice. Let's move on to that one, shall we? Choice. This is the scenario that most of us face, and I certainly faced this many times in my life. We wake up in the morning and we look out the window and it's dark, it's raining, the traffic is backing up, the boiler's gone off, and you need a shower because you have to go to work and present something to someone that you couldn't care less about doing, but you've been told to do it. And you remind yourself right there and then that you've got no choice but to get on with it. And there it is. You've got no choice. You've just reminded yourself, and whether you think you have or you think you haven't, you are absolutely right. That's a riff on a quote by Henry Ford, because it is true. What you say to yourself is the truth. The language we use directly affects the world around our lives. Here's something that may break the bank. Everyone has a choice every day. Now, philosopher and writer Albert Camus famously wrote that life is the sum of all your choices. So what are you going to do today? He also said, the only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. We can spend so long looking around and reminding ourselves how little choice we have and how little freedom we have. However, it is not you who are imprisoned, it is society. If you remove yourself from that via your mindset, then you have performed an act of freedom. If we go back to Mr. Camus, in the first quote, he says that life is the sum of all your choices. You are responsible for being in the place you are. Simple as that. Your life has played out, and whether you feel you have been in control of it or not, the simple fact remains that you are where you should be based on the choices you have made. Now, this works individually as well as in the workplace, because if you are in the workplace and you find yourself doing something you don't want to do, you still have a choice. And whatever your decision not only benefits you personally, but will benefit the company, organization that you work for, because no manager or company or organization wants somebody working for them who doesn't want to do that. Everybody benefits. If you understand, you have a choice whether you want to do that or not. And it may seem harsh to some people because there are so many of us who have got used to blaming others for being where we are. But the reality is we are responsible for our lives, not others. If you have let someone dictate to you how you should live, then you have made that choice, consciously or unconsciously. Camus reminds us of this. His second quote is to shake you from your slumber. Society is designed to keep us all safe, keep us all ordered. It is a structure. It has to accommodate everyone. The bad lot and the good lot. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Most people don't think about it. You've seen The Matrix. Well, this is exactly that. Yet by understanding you have a choice in life means taking your first steps towards your own personal, internal, mindful rebellion. Yes, society is the Death Star, and you are an X-Wing pilot. Well, maybe not. But the truth is that we have to live in a society, to behave and to be polite and to pay taxes. That is our world. I'm not saying to go and live in the woods and disappear from society, but you can start to ease yourself out of the bubble and create the life that you want to lead. You don't have to work 9 to 5. That's been created by an outdated model of society. You don't need to own a home. You don't need to take 2 weeks off every year and work the other 350 days. You don't need all the stuff they try to confuse you into buying. You don't need to tell yourself you are too old, you are not clever enough. You can change your life any time that you like. Society makes it difficult because it doesn't want you to do that, because it wants to keep you safe and ordered and in a structure. You stay in the office, number 4,000,006, that's you. But anyone seen The Prisoner? I am not a number, I'm a free man. Patrick McGowan. And you can start doing that by telling yourself you have a choice. And it's so liberating to feel that. You still go to work, but you've chosen to go to work. It frees you. And ultimately, that makes you happier. Because your language affects your mindset. And if you wake up daily with no choice, that is going to seriously affect your emotional health, which then affects your physical health, and you're on a downward slide. And you can turn this around. And it's time we turn this around. So let's get back to The Empire Strikes Back, shall we? Now, Luke has had his ship removed from the swamp. Good time, because while training for the Force and doing handstands and things like that, he saw a vision in his head of his friends in a city of clouds, suffering and being tortured and maybe even killed. He collapses in a heap, the rocks come crashing down that were floating in the air, poor R2-D2 gets thrown somewhere, and Yoda sighs once more, and he will never learn, this precocious young man. The friends come first, though, to Luke. They are his family, and his family needs help. He would go there to rescue them, much to the disgust of Yoda and Kenobi, Ben Kenobi, that is, who was there in a sort of ghost-like state to catch up, see what's going on with Luke's progress towards being a Jedi Knight, as you do. Yoda feared that Luke was not ready to face whatever it was he was going to face, and we all knew it was going to be Darth Vader. But off Luke went anyway into an unknown, and as it turns out, a trap to capture him. So he reaches Cloud City, and there he is forced into a hell-like chamber. And that's where he comes face to face with the person who killed his friend and mentor. Yes, he comes face to face with Darth Vader. They duel. And Yoda was right. Luke was not ready. Vader is strong with the dark side of the Force. And all Luke can offer are a few cheap leaps into the air and maybe some rocks. I don't know, but he didn't have any rocks, so he couldn't even use that. He is no match. And it turns out to be true when Vader chops off his hand. And that's it. Game over. He's lost his lightsaber. He's lost his hand. Vader then says to him, "You will join me or die." Now, I've done a video insert of this, and I haven't been able to insert it, but it's also on YouTube. I'll put the link in so you can watch the video insert. No, not taken from the original Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. So Luke had two choices. He could join Darth Vader, or he could die in the tunnel which was below him. Was Vader telling him the truth about anything? Oh, it was also confusing for the young man. So Luke did the only thing he could do, and the thing that enabled him to blow up the Death Star in the first movie, which is really the fourth movie. Must remember that. What did he do? He let go. He had a choice to make, and he chose to let go. I mean, what a fool, right? I mean, at least Vader, he could go with Vader, buy some time, plot his escape or something. Perhaps the two of them, you know, they might get along. They might find something in common, and then they could go for a drink and sort it all out. They could play catch up, or, you know, whatever. Anyway, Luke had his hand chopped off, by the way, so he didn't forget that. And you're going to trust a man who's chopped your hand off? Well, you know, robot or whatever he was. So Luke chose to leap. He took a leap of faith. He leapt into the unknown and put all of his faith into the Force, into the universe, into fate, into belief, into God. It's all the same thing. It's the same power, the same energy. He put his faith into the magic and the wonder. Vader told him there was only one way. Luke knew there were two options. He chose to leap. And while the Empire may have defeated him in this time, it turns out he would live to see another day. In this chapter of the movie series, it is literally the hero's journey. Luke descends into hell, which is depicted by the chamber in Cloud City. He faces his biggest fear, which is his father dressed in black, and then he is defeated. He descends further into the belly of hell and is spat out to be reborn as a fully formed Jedi. And so how does this relate to you? I mean, hopefully you've seen The Empire Strikes Back. Spoilers. But how does this relate to you? Well, in life, we have a choice. Luke took a difficult choice with an unknown path. He trusted his instinct. He leapt. That's what we have to do too. Freedom comes from understanding you have a choice when it comes to facing your fears. Yes, you have a choice to go to work. It's your choice. It is your freedom to do so. You have a choice when it comes to remaining in a relationship. You have a choice when it comes to clearing your debt or selling your house. You have a choice in everything. And, you know, maybe you don't have a choice whether you go to school, but you reach a stage when you've gone through that compulsory stuff from 16 or is it 18, then you have a choice because you can make a decision because you're an adult. The freedom happens when you realize you have a choice and you choose one way or another. By continuing to go to work daily, that's your choice to do so. It's your freedom to do so. By talking to your partner and discussing your emotions honestly, it is your choice, and it opens you both up, hopefully, to being more free in a relationship. It may be difficult, and you may be discussing things that neither of you want to discuss and saying things that neither of you want to hear, but you have a choice also how you react to each other. It's always your choice. This happens so much in an argument when something happens, and I do this, I've done this, but I catch myself now doing it. You've made me feel this. Okay, no, they haven't made you feel anything. You've chosen to feel that from what they've said. And because it connected with you in some unpleasant way. But you still have a choice how you approach that, where you take that, what you do with it. You still have a choice. Recognizing choice gives you free will. You are free to live the life that you want to. And if finances or something else get in the way of that, then you have the freedom to chart a path towards changing that. If you struggle to see that, and you know, it's a bit of a mindset bendy, If you struggle to see that, then picture yourself as the hero of your story. This is a good way of doing it. And imagine what the hero would do. So imagine you're watching your life being played out on the screen. You could be in the cinema, you could be at home on the telly. What would you do? You as the audience, if you were the audience, what would you expect you to do next as the hero, as the core character, the central character, the one character who's pushing the narrative forward all of the time, the one that you want to win, to succeed? What would you expect you to do next when faced with a challenge? And that is when you can play with your imagination. That is when you can stop for however long. If you need to make a decision, you can say, I'll give you a decision in 20 minutes. You can stop. You can really dive deep. Listen to your heart. Reconnect. Think about what you really want to do. Not a rash decision, not a, oh, I'll do it, but I really don't want to do it. Not a, oh, I've got to do it because that's what they expect me to do. Not a, oh, I've always done it this way, so I'll always do it that way. No, you take a step back and you say, actually, what do I want to do? What do I really want to do here? And if the thing that you really want to do doesn't fit with what they want you to do, then you start a negotiation process. And if they take umbrage with that, umbrage, that's a good word, if they are unhappy with that, if it makes them cross or angry or makes them defensive, that is their choice. They can choose to react and behave in a different way. You've got to be true to you all of the time. You see, and if you picture yourself doing this, close your eyes and just picture it, and you see it playing out in your head, and you are the hero of your story. You are whoever, all the old action heroes, the new action heroes, and you just see it play out in your head for 5 minutes. Let your imagination fly with it. Because by visualizing things that you want, by visualizing your success, you are actually setting a subconscious course towards making it a reality. The mind is a powerful thing. It can boost or remove your confidence in one foul swoop. So why not let it see you as something that you want to be? Don't worry about where you are currently, where you are emotionally or physically. See yourself in a place you want to be. It's really all about play. This is your world. You see it uniquely through your eyes. You react to it through your eyes, your emotions, your experience. You can play with it. And once you've visualize this, you play some music if it helps you. Do something. Don't take 10 minutes of calm. Sit on the toilet, for goodness sake. Anything that removes you from a situation. Visualize yourself. And then write down what you have discovered. You can see your life play out in all possible scenarios, a bit like Dr. Strange, all the possible angles and scenarios, and then find one that fits what you want. Now, it may be really hard to do from time to time, but it really is about you taking action and taking responsibility. So let's talk about action before we wrap up, because that is what it's all about at the end of the day, action. Luke leapt. He took action. Yoda got the ship out of the swamp. He took action. George Lucas wrote the story and filmed it against all the odds. Action. It became a massive hit and earned him a fortune. Reward. If you don't take any action, you will not change your world. Your mindset will remain the same. Your life will stagnate. You will feel much the same, and you will think you have no choice, which leads to no voice. And I don't want that for you. So I put it in a handy formula, and there is a PDF of this presentation, which if you want, you can you can, comment or email or whatever, and I can send it to you, and you will get this cut out and keep handy formula, which I created to help you when you're next faced with a problem. Freedom mindset: fear minus choice plus action equals freedom. Recognize that the things that put you in fear. Acknowledge that you have a choice. Take action to change. Realization that you are free. So I will conclude now, and thank you for listening. I hope this has been informative, entertaining, and maybe a bit different. I want to change our perspective on mental health, on our emotions, and how we approach them. I want to come at it from a different angle. So thank you for your time, and I hope this has resonated with some of you. In conclusion, The Empire Strikes Back is a Shakespearean tragedy with a bleak ending considered to be unique amongst Hollywood blockbusters. It's voted as the best sequel ever, which would upset the Godfather clan. Is widely considered to be the best film ever, which I'm not too sure about myself, but best lists are entirely subjective anyway. We all have our own favorite film, and sometimes it's even a film that's considered to be a bit rubbish, but it's entirely personal to you. It's your list, it's your films. If you like it, you like it. But whether you like Star Wars or not, one thing you can take from this, and that is its emotional impact and duality between the dark and the light. It is about us. It's about the energy that surrounds us, about belief, and it's about becoming the person that you could be, and about understanding that you have a choice with everything that life throws at you. Luke Skywalker chose to leap into the unknown. And you know what happened? He became the most powerful Jedi in the universe. So I'll ask you a question now. What can you become? Thank you for your time. I wish you well. I'm stopping recording.